Yeah, good morning. Today is, I think it's Wednesday morning. Last Tuesday, March 22nd, we had our club meeting and we went through a lot of stuff. I went through a lot of equipment, and you might have got lost during that time. So I thought what I would do is kind of review some of the things that I talked about. So if you have any questions or if you want to find out where to get them, the equipment I talked about, I'll kind of show you that here. So anyway, what we're going to talk about is umbrellas, reflectives, and see-through. We're going to talk about triggers and flashes and lights and all kinds of good stuff. What are the different umbrellas for photography? Well, there are 4 different types. There's a reflective, there's a see-through, parabolic is what that's called, and then there's a thing called an umbrella softbox, which we'll talk about. And inside the umbrellas that we talked about too, they have 3 different kinds of coatings. They have white, silver, or gold, and each one of them will give you a different color of that flash. So there's certain times you use one, certain times you don't, and we'll kind of get into that as well. So you can see here on our first page that we have 4 different types of umbrellas. This one on the top left-hand corner is what they would consider a softbox umbrella, because the light sits in right in here and shoots into the umbrella, then comes back through this nice diffuser here. The one on the far right-hand corner on the top is just a typical umbrella. It's a 45-inch, which is a pretty good standard. 45 inches is a nice standard. Or you can even get a 33-inch. Or you can get up as high as 7 feet if you want. But there's a good standard, and you can see on this particular one, it shows that you can have the black background, or you can take that black off and then have a see-through. Like down in the left-hand corner is a see-through. The only problem that I found with this type of umbrella is that, the more you take that off, the chances of getting it wrecked and things like that are pretty good. But that's a good overall, and you can kind of see it's a silver, white lining. And then the bottom right-hand corner would be your typical umbrella. Black, white on the inside. It's not silver. It's not gold. It's a reflective one. So again, this is a 33-inch one. The one on top here was a 45-inch, but 33, and 33 is a good size. And then here you go. Remember I was talking about the gold inside, and here's one with gold inside. And normally you wouldn't use this one. And let's say you're taking photos at sunset. Okay, the sun is very warm, or sunrise. The sun is very warm. You probably wouldn't use this because it's going to even give it a more warmer color. If I was outside using this, probably high noon, because then the light is kind of bluish or kind of stale, and this would warm up your subject matter. So don't use this very often, because it does really give that gold feeling to the subject. Down here in the right-hand corner, you have, we talked about a grid. And a grid is just something that fits over, and you can see here, it's a nice looking here, just fits over the softbox. Now this is a regular, you get this one with the softbox, but you can buy the grid separately if you already have a softbox or whatever. Now of course you can't use this on an umbrella because there's no way of really attaching it too much. So it's a softbox, and what the grid does is helps you control the light. So there's no light, and we'll call it light leak. You can control the light exactly where you kind of want it to go. But these are kind of nice to have. And then this last one, this is your parabolectic. It's hard for me to pronounce that word. But what it is just more, you can see there's just more slants. Here's your typical 8-1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this is probably 16. Okay, and supposedly what that's supposed to do, the more of these panels that you have, the softer the light. You don't have such hard lighting within the photo itself. I personally think sometimes it's hard to tell the difference, but it's there. A little more expensive, and you can see this is of a silver, and this is silver, and this is a big one too. This is probably even, yeah, probably the same. 16 or even 32 slots. One here on the right hand side, it's a deep one, and you can see how round that is. So your light coming from here would bounce off and then come straight back out, and it would be a very shallow. I mean, it wouldn't go out very far, wide-wise, compared to something like this one here, the third one from the left. It would your light would go far to the right and far to the left, far to the top and far to the bottom. But anyway, so that's kind of the umbrellas. Soft boxes. This is what we talked about a little earlier. A soft box is just something where you have a diffuser. Okay, this is a soft box umbrella again. This is what I have. And you put the light here and it shoots into the umbrella and then it comes back out. And it's a real nice, soft lighting. This is 33 inches, as you can see. But they call it a diffuser type. Here you have some soft boxes, and they're different sizes and also different shapes. And the different shapes is how you kind of want that light to come out. We talked about this is the one I have. We talked about the square here, and supposedly that's supposed to kind of give you the window look. Okay, natural light is more square, rectangle. Octagon kind of wraps around the person. And you can see on the inside how they kind of work is that it's silver on the inside, the light is here, and then light just comes through the diffuser. And of course with the silver in there, it's going to make the light even a little brighter. And then here again you got the grid on this side, so you can buy a grid for that as well. You can put these are usually used with constant lighting, in other words, lights that stay on all the time, and we kind of talked about that too. But you could put a flash in here as well, on camera flash or a bigger flash, if you have the right setup. Sometimes these little setups in here where the bulb or the thing comes through, you got to have that right setup to be able to attach a flash. This one here just kind of gives you an idea of how the light goes. You can see this one where the light goes way up in the top right hand corner. The left one top is controlled a little bit more, and so forth. But so when you're picking the out of umbrella or a softbox, just kind of remember the shape of how you want that light. And that's why people have different ones, because they use different shapes and different sizes for different photo shoots. And then when it comes to the light bulbs inside that constant lighting, okay, these are the ones that you can get off Amazon. These are the ones that I use. And if you go to like Menards or someplace like that, you want to try to get a light that is a 55K or 55 Kelvin in the color scheme, because that's more about just a natural color. They're not really adding any bias or hue to the light itself. If you go warmer than that, of course, you're going to get that orange again, or if you go lighter, you're going to get more of a bluish tint. But these come in different sizes. Let's see here. This one here is like an 85 watt. This one here is 105 watt. Here's a package of 4, and kind of be careful when you see this, because sometimes they'll say, it's 45 is 80, it's 160 watt, but and you think, oh wow, it's a bulb for 160 watt. No, it's 4 bulbs at 45 watts. I think that's 160, right? 8, 9, 10, 9, 180, I guess. So kind of be careful when you're ordering that. And see, this one's a little warmer now at 65K. And I like the lighter or the brighter lights, because when you're working with clients or you're working with people, you can always move the light back if you got too much light. But if you get one that's 45 watts, That light has to be pretty close to that person or baby or whatever to get the correct lighting. But these are wonderful lights. And you can see they're a little pricey, 30 bucks, 15 bucks a light bulb, but they'll probably last you a lifetime because you don't use them that much. Then there's all kinds of different kits, right? We talked about this too. You can buy kits. Just be careful when you're looking to buy a kit that everything in that kit is something that you will use. Sometimes what they do is they'll put a kit together and there's stuff in there that you'll never ever use in a million years. But it's in there anyway, so it just sounds good. So just be careful of what you're buying. But some of these kits are pretty good. Here's one for $200. I mean, that's a little. We're going to get to this one in a little bit. But anyway, so here's the different kits, and just read what you're getting for sure. And we're going to look at one a little closer here in a second. And then here's some more. You can just see they just have all different types of combinations, different prices, $162 up to $200 or almost $300. Here's one for $80. These are a little bit different light bulbs here than the ones that I buy. They're a little different looking light bulb, but one that looks not too bad. I mean, it depends on what you want to do. This would be kind of a nice starting kit. But you can see what it comes with. It comes with or actually 3 soft boxes. Okay, it comes with 4 different lights. The lights are 85 watts, so it's good there. So you got like soft boxes. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different stands. It looks like. Then they give you a gold umbrella. They give you a silver umbrella, and they give you 2 white umbrellas. Okay, or see-through umbrellas. And then they also throw in reflectors. Okay, and this is you reflect it using these outside. You reflect the sun onto your subject or whatever, and you can see there's all different kinds of colors here. But it also comes with a stand, okay, in the back, and it also comes with 3 different color backgrounds. A green background if you want to shoot on green, and you can see back there there's a white background and a black background. So overall, excuse me, I just took a sip of coffee. Overall, it's a nice little kit. It would work great for your home. You could take nice family photos with this. You could take nice grandchildren, pets, or whatever. It's nice lighting. It's got nice lighting. It's got the nice umbrella. So it's really not a bad deal for $127. Okay, we talked about light stands. Just be careful when you buy light stands that you buy the right ones. You remember the story I told you about the light stand? It didn't go high enough. If you're only using one light, one flash, one light, normally that has to be more behind you. And so you're going to be standing in front of it, so you want to make sure it goes high enough. And like this here is a 2-pack, goes up 9 feet. So that's pretty tall, and it's $63. But then just kind of look as you go through. Here's one for 7 feet. Okay, the one I bought is I think down here, or is it on the next page? No, it's got to be here. 8.5 feet. Mine goes up, but mine's got that kind of a spring cushion. So when you're pushing the arm down, there's kind of a cushion there, so it doesn't. If you accidentally unloosened the thing, it wouldn't go dropping down and just hitting. It would come down at kind of a cushion. So that was kind of nice. But you can see if you were just doing flash, a small flash attachment like that flash that sits on top of your camera, then I don't think you need to necessarily go into a very expensive one. These here are pretty good. Here's 2 of them for $32, so that's fairly cheap. Here's 2 for $32. They go up 6 feet high, but they're not really heavy duty, so you got to be kind of careful on that. I would put a flash on this, but I would not put my big flash on these. If you remember what my big flashes look like and my big umbrellas, because they're just not, And if you plan on doing outside shooting, then these would be, and they're okay. but just remember they're not real heavy duty. Like this one here is a heavy duty one. Down here is a good heavy duty one. Here is really heavy duty. Okay, here's two of them for $126. So they'd be really, really heavy duty. And then kind of the drawback on heavy duty ones compared to other ones are heavier. They're more to tug around. If this one goes up 9 feet, it's bigger, it's longer, it's a little bit more clumsier than the ones that go up 7 feet and so forth. But so it really kind of all depends on, and I always say, buy what you can afford. But I found over the years that if you invest in the good things first, then you don't have to rebuy them later. Light triggers, we talked about light triggers a lot. And remember, this one here is kind of cool because one is that it does fit on top of your camera. Okay. So you can use it on top of your camera. And what's kind of nice is if you can turn this around, and it can also be used as a trigger for your camera, a remote control. So this is kind of a nice one. Doesn't have a lot of different settings. You can't set like 3 or 4 different settings on, or different radio frequencies to set off different types of flashes. They're all going to be set on the same flash. But it's kind of nice. And then you can see up here it's got the 5 points, so that would only mean that it's through the lens. So if you through the lens with your flash, which is also kind of nice. But what's really nice about it is, like I said, you can turn it around and then use it as a remote control as well. One over here on the far right hand corner, it's a nice little setup. You got a transmitter and you got 3 receivers. Okay, and this one talks about it's got 16 different radio frequencies, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but right in here they are. So you go, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can set this one at 1, that one at whatever. But you can see there's only a 1 dot. Okay. And usually if you're using a trigger with a flash that's not on your camera, all you really want to do is have it to go off. So you don't really need through the lens on your flashes or on your slaves. All you want to do is trigger it. But now the drawback here, remember I told you that you can't change settings. You can't. You have to go over to the flash and change it if it's too bright or too dark and so forth like that. Down here, as you can see here, I just put this one on here so you can see that there's this is through the lens. It's a little different one than this one. This is through the lens. And this is the same as this one, top side. And this is a very basic one. You can see on the far right hand corner here, it's just a transmitter and 1 receiver. It's $22. So that's a good starting point. This one would be a good starting to see how you kind of work with that. And then as you proceed, you'll graduate up to the different kinds. Flash, the different types of flashes. And there's just a number of them. I mean, they're just it's no ending. It's very confusing sometimes what flash is good, what flash isn't. They all have all these little kits. They throw in a bunch of stuff in some of these things, and some of this stuff, I have so much of this stuff in my drawers that I never use because, but they can advertise that, hey, well, look at all the stuff you're getting for this price or whatever. But the ones that I have is Godox. That's these here. Let me see here. It's this one here. This is a through the lens. Okay. This is the one that I would use on my camera. Okay. It's through the lens. The ones that I have, and I can't see the bottom of them, but they would be probably, I don't think I even have it here. It's a manual Godox, and it's runs about $60, and it's not through the lens. But those are the ones that I would use as my slaves or my off-camera flash. Okay. And now you remember me telling you the other day that what I liked about this, and this is the transmitter, What I liked about this is, one, it sits on the camera, okay, and I can put a flash on top of my camera, so I can have it on my camera if I want. But now I have A, B, C, D, E. I have all these different channels if I want to use them, and I can really manipulate the different settings. But the biggest key for me was I can change the settings of my camera. So if my slave is 30 feet away and I take a picture and it's too bright, I can change that output of that flash when I'm standing at my camera. The other flashes, I'd have to walk way over and do it manually, and then come back, take a picture, and then, oh, don't like that, walk back over. So if you can afford it, even if you can only afford this, and actually, believe it or not, you don't even really need this. You can do this same thing, what this does, okay, inside your camera. But it's confusing. I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons, okay, and each button probably does 2 or 3 different things. So then you got to push a button, and then this button does this and this and this. Then you push another button, it does this and this. Then you push this button. So to me, it's just confusing, and so that's why I got this here. But if you can afford it, and you don't have to buy the Godox one. I mean, that's the one I like, but there are different ones out there. This, and then one through the lens, and then one manual. And you can do an awful lot with just those 2 flashes. Because what you can do is, if you don't want to put one on the camera, then you can take the one that you normally use on the camera on a light stand somewhere, and have 2 of them that are on light stands, and then have nothing coming from your camera. So you really have a good flexibility. And then as time goes on, you just say, oh, I want to buy another flash, I want to buy another one. And like I say, the Godox manual, or the basic ones, run about $69. Through the lens is about $129. But I love this one. I love how it works. And then we talked a little bit about the bigger flashes of like this. The top one is the one I have. It's 300 watts. Okay, they didn't have the bottom one when I bought the top one, and I had to buy one because my other flash burnt out. So I had to buy one. So I was kind of in a pickle. And it's simple. It's just, here's my transmitter, and then the receiver's built in. But what's nice about this, again, it's portable. It's chargeable battery. So I can take this outside. I can take it and move it around. I don't have to worry about cords. And this particular one now comes with 2 batteries. So that's kind of nice. Okay. But it's just a transmitter and a receiver. So if I was shooting at full power and I took the shot and it was too bright, I'd have to walk over and then turn that down to whatever setting I think would work. Okay, the one below this, okay, this is the one that Tim has, and this is the one that I kind of wish I had. But one is 400 watts, and we kind of talked about the difference between 400 and 300. 400 watts, the flash doesn't have to be as close to the subject, which is kind of nice, depending upon where you're taking a photo and this and that, which is kind of nice. But also what's nice about this one here, and I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to assume it is because I can see the trigger right here, is I can change the output of the flash from my camera. So again, if I'm in the back of the church, or if I'm 3/4 of the way down the aisle, I take a photo, and I have this on the side and it's too bright, I can change it while I'm standing there. Or I'd have to walk all the way down and change this manually. So to me, that's just a major difference, And then if you wanted to if you're going to go into this kind of professionally and really get into it, here's one. The only drawback here, these are not battery operated. These would be, but they're similar to, you could do the same thing here, but it's $400 for one. So if you're going to buy 3 of them, that's $1,200. To where here you get 3 for $700, and then you get to try the soft boxes and a bunch of other little stuff in there, which is kind of nice. But you could really take nice pictures with this, because you have the 3, 2 on the side and maybe 1 behind you. Then would give you a nice overall. I'm just thinking of taking pictures in a church, nice overall lighting effect. So that probably wouldn't be a bad way to go. And then we talked a little bit about the different things to hold the flashes. To me, it says it's the best seller. It's $16.58 for 2 of them, and it does the job. If I was just putting a flash on there and maybe a real small umbrella, I'd probably be okay with this. When you buy these things, just make sure there's a little knob there that you can turn so you can tilt the flash forward or back and forth. The difference between this one and this one, I am not for sure. Different brand names or different names. Maybe that's what it is, but they look pretty much identical. Or you can come up to this one and buy 1 of those and then 1 of these other ones. Or what I like, and I kind of spend the money, is this top one. Because this one here, of course, you can go forward, backwards, but you can really crank. It's not gonna wobble on you, as I think some of these would do. Especially if you put a flash in there and you put a little bit bigger umbrella, a little bit more weight, whatever. So I kind of like the top ones. Well, we already looked at the light bulbs, so we don't have to look at them again. I don't know why I have that. And then we had a couple of backdrops. These are backdrops that are portable because they fold up. They're collapsible. You can buy backgrounds that aren't this way and just cloth ones, and you'd have to have a stand and stuff like that. But if you remember, you kind of saw the one I had. Works pretty good. If I were to buy one of these, I probably would go with this gray and brown one, because one side would be gray and the other side would be kind of brown. It gives me a good variety. And if I take it on this gray and it's too bright, and when I'm in Lightroom, I can darken it to this gray real easy. I personally wouldn't do this one on the bottom. I don't like that blue at all. But I would do that one. Then my second one maybe be the top, because it's kind of got a bluish and kind of colored in the back. And then the 2 gray ones. But anyway, so that is what we kind of covered. I am going to do a video maybe this morning on my portrait that we took of Mike, him sitting there, and I'm going to go through Lightroom and kind of show you what I do there, so kind of be prepared for that. Also, too, I want to start advertising our next month's photo club. It's going to be a workshop, and it's going to be on macro shooting. We're going to have you bring your cameras, your lights, your tripods, whatever things to take pictures of, and probably spend an hour showing you how to take macro shots, how to get close, how to get them in focus, etc. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, or if you need any help, don't be afraid to ask myself or Tim or anybody in the club. We are more than happy to help anybody with anything. And me, personally, I don't know about Tim. I know he has a full-time job, so I don't know. I think he would if he could work out the time, but certainly a one-on-one mentoring type of thing. For me, there's no charge. I just like doing it. So if you ever want to do a one-on-one, something with the lights like we just talked about, we can come over and set them up in my garage. If you want to go out and do a photo shoot, go to a park, whatever, just don't be afraid to ask, because that's why we're here. And we would not offer that if we didn't want to do it. So don't feel like you're really taking advantage, because you're not. So anyway, I hope you kind of enjoyed this. And Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Thanks.